que você faz? Yeah, I kind of. I just really wanted to make sure that I squeezed this in. I actually mentioned this before. Translation. No, that's a good last game. Yeah, it's been a relief. It was such a weird thing for me to stay and all that too. But it's all working out. But the notes are due tomorrow. So after this, do you know this part? Yeah. Okay. I'm not very familiar with it. Oh God. I mean, if you ever get a chance, read the poetry itself. It's great that we have such a masterful thing. Translated, but you have the story like Robin Cresswell's book about was. It's called City of something. This is amazing. It's basically that yeah. I mean, I think I first came across his poetry like in Borges' introduction against Forgetting.
That's the only place I
Yeah. And then over the years, I think some Cresswell review and other reviews. Yeah, and then when I met Connor, I realized I saw Connor's name. Yeah. Geography. Molly's okay, how many games? Yeah, no, I was kind of motivated. That's great.
What a time too.
Yes. Yeah. And I was Lebanon just classic.
I'm just saying, people, you wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I think it's good. I mean, I remember it was sort of process over the summer, and I was thinking about the art of that.
Yeah.
All these questions in translation. Obviously, this is self-translation, which is. I'm actually having a panel with her. Who's right together, but like in a marathon.
Right.
So it's high and high. I actually know her.
Yeah. She's great.
Chicago's a place for you too, right? That's right. Or the former. I go to the one. Chico's the editor that turned this into.
Okay, see, this is I was about to say this.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, the Phoenix Poets.
Is it?
I'm so glad that we got some more over that.
and Molly was at doing a reading in Montreal for her book, and her professor, Morty in Montreal, was where he could be a school friend with Chief. Yeah. It's like that.
Yeah, so this is what I meant that was when just because I don't think it's authorized. So like when we got the permissions for the so well let's not about the distribution center and then we realized those are just two separate conversations. So we'll see what happens.
That was
Yeah, but anyway, his family is
good.
that's really good.
Yeah.
I only met them one time. I was like, yes, it's absolutely not. We have students.
He's great. I think he's like a character.
I still haven't seen that do it long.
Oh yeah. No, it's like it's a really long.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
In my mind, I was thinking it was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I think that's
And then pretty much set it close to like 5 or 6 hours. I'm just really exhausted. This is work.
because you are the fellowship working on that last year too.
Yes. It's just like
Experience.
I mean, it really depends on the thing. It was good for me, but it was like, there's all these old ideas.
That's always interesting.
So it's like really like,
Editor friends.
because it wasn't exciting to me, it's like, no idea. But I was like, out of here. So it's not really small. And I'm just glad to have yeah, we just having coffee. This guy Lucas, that great. This super interesting guy, writing about
Interesting. Yes.
super interesting.
It's an ambiguous container sometimes.
Oh, fuck
Yeah.
I mean, as he was saying, people who didn't want to touch it for long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like this third way. Western.
Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome. If it would be possible, our guest had asked if people would move closer. He wants you to be closer to him. So some of the people in the back might move forward a little, and we could be friendlier. That's great. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Ryan Speech, and I'm the director of the Center for Middle Eastern and North African Studies here at the University of Michigan, which is one of the co-sponsors of tonight's event. The Center for Middle Eastern and North African Studies is a Title VI center, a national resource center that's funded by the Department of Education with a Title VI grant to support learning, language learning, teacher outreach, and cultural and academic events like this one tonight. And so it's a pleasure to be able to co-sponsor this event, which is Transformations of the Poet, Writing Poetry in the 21st Century, a reading and conversation with Adonis. Before introducing our illustrious speakers, I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to our sponsors, our other and main sponsors, including the Department of Middle East Studies, the Department of Comparative Literature, the Department of English Language and Literature, the Institute for the Humanities, and above all, the Michigan Quarterly Review. So thank you to all of those entities for making this event possible tonight. The event will consist of a reading and conversation with Adonis, who will be accompanied by his translator and friend, U of M Professor Khalid al-Awa. So I'll introduce them in that order. Adonis is, of course, one of the world's preeminent poets in the Arabic language, a towering figure in world literature today, who's been a leader in the modernist movement in contemporary Arabic poetry for decades. Adonis, his pen name, was born in Syria in 1930 as Ali Ahmad Said al-Isbah. And he was born into a family of farmers with no formal education until his teens. And so he received his Arabic literature sort of in his mother's milk. But published his first volume of poetry in 1950, Dalila, and subsequently received a degree in philosophy from the University of Damascus in 1954. After facing imprisonment in 1955 because of his political views, he moved to Damascus, from Damascus to Beirut, where in 1957 he helped found the avant-garde poetry review, Shia Poetry, and later became a citizen of Lebanon. Among his early volumes of poetry in the late 50s include the first poems, Tasa'id Ula and Awraq al-Rih in 1958, Leaves in the Wind. And in the 60s, he helped create a new form of Arabic poetry, characterized by elevated diction and a form of complex surrealism influenced by the work of Sufi poets. And published numerous works of poetry all through the 1960s, many important works of poetry, which I won't read each one, but all through the 60s he was active, and in 1968 launched the radical journal Mawaqif, Positions, which expanded its scope beyond literature and included political commentary. He also published throughout the 1970s, including A Tomb for New York in 1971, Qabr min Arj New York. In 1973, he received a PhD from St. Joseph University in Beirut, and after that held faculty positions at various universities before settling in Paris in the 1980s. But continued to be an active and essential voice in poetry and literature. In 1995, his book, Al-Kitab, the book, whose name echoes, in fact, the Quran itself, is a structurally complex work exploring Arabic history from multiple perspectives. He's published literary essays, poems, and many other important works of criticism, including Muqaddima lil-Shi'r al-Arabi, an introduction to Arab poetics. In 1979, still essential reading for anyone studying Arabic literature. English translations of several selected poems appear from the 1970s to today, including just a few: The Blood of Adonis, 1971, The Transformation of the Lover, 1983, The Pages of Day and Night, 1994, and A Time Between Ashes and Roses, in 2004. He's been the recipient of many awards and honors, including the Goethe Prize in 2011, and the PEN Nabokov Award for Achievement in International Literature in 2017. And he's joined tonight by his primary translator, U of M's own Khalid al-Matawa, who is also the organizer of tonight's event. So thank you, and kudos also, Khalid, for organizing this wonderful event. And allow me to introduce Professor al-Matawa to you as well. He is also an eminent poet and has published several collections of poetry, including Fugitive Atlas in 2010, which was a finalist for the Midwest Publishers and Community of Magazines and Literary Presses Annual Poetry Prize. He's the author of 2 works of literary criticism, Mahmoud Darwish, The Poet's Art and His Nation, in 2014, and How Long Have You Been With Us? Essays on Poetry and Translation, from 2016. He's translated numerous volumes of contemporary Arabic poetry, including Adonis's selected poems, as well as Concerto al-Quds in 2017, and Saidi Yusuf's Without an Alphabet Without a Face in 2003. He's co-edited numerous anthologies of Arab American literature, and most recently, Beyond Memory, an anthology of Arab American creative nonfiction in 2020. His work has also been widely anthologized and is widely read. So it's an honor to be able to welcome them both here tonight. I'm not sure how you want to be, if you want to stand or sit, we have chairs, but it's a pleasure to be able to welcome you both to the stage. So please join me in welcoming Adonis and Khalid Al-Mukawa.
Thank you all for coming. The eminent poet asked you all to come closer, and some of you have not obeyed. So please come closer, those of you who are trying to hide in the back. Many seats. Come. بالعربي الواحد I apologize to ADONIS for the size of this room. We weren't able to get a nicer room, and he's mortified by the size of the room. So your proximity to him will make me more comfortable. Here's the plan. We will read some poems from ADONIS' work in the 21st century. As you know, his first book came out in the middle of the 20th century, but God has been gracious to him and to us for keeping him producing and healthy and alive well into the 21st century. So we will not deal with the 20th century, we will deal with the most recent poems. And as a critical question for me is again, perhaps this idea of transformation of the poet. How does the poet remain alive? How does the poet transform? And as Ryan had mentioned in his introduction, there were several movements that ADONIS has been responsible for igniting in Arabic poetics. And still there is more new adaptations. So I wanted to just sort of respect his Promethean living fire of poetry that he keeps nourishing for himself and for us. I want to basically, after we read some, he will read from Arabic, I will read a little bit more in English, just so that we let the people who don't know the Arabic not wait. And then I have a few questions for him. And then we will open it up to the public. But we will read, we hope for 20 minutes, but if we exceed that, I hope you don't mind. Okay? So, let us begin.
الصديقات والأصدقاء الحضور.
Friends, male and female, and other who are in attendance.
أشكركم جميعا واحدا واحدا.
I wish to thank you all one by one.
ويسعدني أن أكون بينكم هذه العشية مع صديقتي ورفيقي خالد.
And it pleases me to be with you today with me. He said much nicer things to me, but I'm embarrassed already.
هذه هي المرة الثانية التي أجيت فيها إلى الآن.
This is my second time visiting Ann Arbor.
بس في فرق لاحظته إنه أنا كبرت والطاقة صارت أصغر.
He said there's a difference. I have gotten older or bigger, as in Arabic you can't say old and big are the same, but the auditorium has gotten smaller. So, نقرأ. Yes.
أتخيل شاعرا في بيروت أختي القاسية صديقتي أثينا، شاعرا يقف مع صديقه جاك بير على باب البحر مائلا على عصاه، يتخيل أن صوته مزمار، أن المزمار ينكسر في حنجرته، أن حنجرته نار اسمها الله. أتخيل شاعرا يمطر التاريخ في أحشائه، يمطر في كلماته وبين قدميه، يمطر دما يرفعه بعضهم كأنه راية السماء. يا رب تشهد أنت التي ولدت في حضن بحرنا الأم، لماذا لا تقولين هذا الشاعر وصديقه؟ تقولين ما لا ترين، ما يقلب الزمن على قفاه، ما يمسك بالريح واقفة على أصابع قدميها، ما يسكب رماد الصمت فوق لهب الكلام الذي يرتجله نثر العالم. قولي كذلك الأهداب الصدئة، الأيدي المبتورة، الأيام المتآكلة، وهل القنديل عنق أم رأس؟ وكيف نميز اليوم بين الحشرة والوردة؟ وقولي هل يمكن ابتكار طريقة لاستعمار الغيب؟ وقولي ما أحوج البحر المتوسط إلى أن يجيء ثانية من طفولة الأبجدية؟ كم هي جريئة تلك الزيزان التي تعمر حصادك أيتها الأبجدية، وما أشرس الملائكة الذين يفترشون أسرة نسيانك. رونيشا، أين هي الصاعقة الآن؟ ولماذا لا يزال الشعر حليفا للموت؟ ولماذا لم تبق السماء من تاريخنا إلا تماثيل بثرت أعضاؤها الجنسية؟ الشاعر المائل على عصاه واقفا على باب البحر مع صديقه جاك بير يوشوش صديقه وربما الموت. إن كانت هناك سماء فهي الهجرة. ويرد صديقه موشوشا هو كذلك: كلا، ليست المعجزة من فوق، إنها التراب نائما في سرابيل العشب. الساعة الآن لا أعرف، غير أن العقارب تدور تطن حولها ذبابتان ثلاث. اكتب قصيدة أيها الشاعر، وصف المشهد مضيفا إليه الجدار الذي جليت عليه، والستارة نصف الممزقة تحت المشكاة، والنافذة السوداء. ولا تنسى أن تستشهد بالحداثة لتعزى بين السباقين. وقبل ذلك لا تنسى أن تضيف إلى المشهد الحذاء العتيق الواقف وحيدا تحت الساعة كأنه ينتظر عودة صاحبه. وإياك والقضايا الكبرى، الشعر لكي يلتقط لا الأشياء بل فتاتها، ولتكن كلماتك في مستوى الوثيقة. نام القمر حزينا على كرسيه الذي غطاه الغيب، وكان الشاعر الماثل على عصاه برفقة صديقه جاك بير يعد الكاشاف التي غرقت في جزة الذهب تلك الليلة لهب الشموع التي أشعلها أطفال على البحر يسمعون مع الزبد ويصطادون الموج. وكان مساء بيروت يتوسع كمثل شحاذ يتسلل الفضاء جاثيا على ركبتيه واضعا خده على خد يوليس. ترانا نحن الذين لا نزال أحياء على ضفاف المتوسط لم نهب إلا روعات النجوم. وردة تحمل الليل كله بين أكمامها تتكل على صدر بيروت فيما تعطي خصرها لذنب الهواء وفيما تحمل الحياة بيوضع واضعة قدميها على درج المستقبل. هذا هو العالم حقا. هل آسف؟ هل آمل؟ أفضل أن أخمي.
I imagine a poet, a salute to Jacques. I imagine a poet in Beirut, sister to Anatolia, friend of Athens, a poet who stands with his friend Jan Burke at the gate of the sea, leaning on his spade. I imagine his voice at the sound of it, as the sound of a tambourine, that the tambourine is breaking in his throat, that his throat is a fire named God. I imagine a poet into whose innards history pours, drenching his words and pooling at his feet. Drenching his words and pooling at his feet. A poet who rains blood that some hoist as a banner made of sky. Goddess of doubt, you who were born in the lap of our mother, the sea, why do you not announce this poet and his friend? Say what you do not see, what turns time on its back, what holds the wind standing on tiptoe, what pours the ashes of silence on the flames of speech, improvised by the world's prose. Announce also the inflamed eyelashes, the severed hands, the withered days, and whether the lantern is a throat or a head, and how we can distinguish today between an insect and a flower, and say, is there a means now to colonize the clouds? And say how this Mediterranean still needs to reemerge from the childhood of the alphabet. Alphabet. How brave they are, these cicadas that inhabit your harvest. How ferocious these angels that lie in the beds of your forgetfulness. Where they shout, where is the storm then? And why is poetry still an ally of the waves? And why has the sky left nothing of our history except statues whose genitals have been cut off? The poet leaning on his cane, standing at the gate of the sea with his friend Jack Burke, whispers to his friend, or perhaps to the waves, if there is a sky, it is migration. And his friend replies, also whispering, no, the miracle is not above. It's the soil sleeping among the underclothes of the grass. What time is it now? I don't know, except that the spidery arms of the clock spin. 2 or 3 flies circle and buzz above. Poet, write a poem and describe the scene. adding the wall upon which you were hung, and the curtain half torn under the lamp, and the black window. Do not forget to allude to modernity, so that you may be counted among the pioneers. But before that, don't forget to describe the scene. The old shoe resting alone under the clock as if waiting for its owner's return, and beware of the big issues. Poetry must capture not the things, but the crumbs, and let your words rise to the covenant. Oh, the moon has fallen sad asleep on his chair covered with clouds, and the poet leaning on his cane accompanied by his friend Jack Burke counted the moths that drowned in the clamor of the flame. On that night, the flame of candles lit by children who spend their nights standing in foam hunting the waves. And Beirut's evening, lost and pining like a beggar soliciting in the vastness of space, brought down to his knees, resting his cheek on Ulysses' cheek. Do you think we are still alive by the shore of the Mediterranean? Have we become herders of the stars? A rose carries the whole of night in her sleeves, leans on Beirut's chest, and gives her waist to the air's forearm, while life embraces her hatchlings, placing her feet on the staircase of the future. Is this really the world? Shall I grieve? Shall I hope? I prefer to sing.
إذا أقرأ مقاطع صغيرة من قصيدة اسمها مشيرة القدس. شخصيا، وأرجو أن يكون هذا واضحا، هذه القصيدة هي نوع من النقد الجذري للممارسات التي تتم باسم الأديان الوحدانية الثلاثة.
Prefacing that he will read, that I will read sections or two sections from a long poem called Concerto al-Quds. This is to clarify that this poem is a condemnation of the of practices, behaviors, policies, actions that are taken in the name of the three monotheistic religions.
وأشدد، ليس للأديان في ذاتها نقد، وإنما للممارسات باسم هذه الأديان.
And this is not a criticism of these faiths, but of the practices that are done in the names of these faiths.
وأكرر هنا ما تعرفونه جميعا: الأديان الوحدانية الثلاثة تقول إن إلهها واحد، لكنها في الممارسة لا تفعل إلا ما يناقض ذلك.
And as you know, that the three monotheistic religions all declare that their God is one and mutual, but the way they behave completely contradicts that claim, that in fact, as if they are not worshippers of the same God.
في رأسي شعر شائب كثير، لكن ليس في أحشائي إلا زغب الطفولة. خذ كيمياءك أيها الشاعر، ثقفها، هيمن عليها، علمها كيف تمزج جسدينا بأحلامنا، وكيف يكون الزمن جديرا بأن ينتمي إلى نهارنا وليلنا، وكيف تحمحم الدقائق في عروقنا كأنها أفراس جامحة. باسمك أنخلع من نفسي لكي أكون نفسا، وباسمك أكون الفرح والحزن في شقة واحدة، وسوف أطبق شفتي على أسرارك. السماء كمثل لوحة فريدة في متحف الأرض، وكل يحارب لكي يصح زعمه أنه سارقها فريد. وباسم السماء يجب أن نوقظ أيوب وإرميا وإشعيا من نومهم لكي يروا عذابهم من جديد في بيت المقدس، ولكي يشهدوا كيف كانوا أحرارا سعداء. والآن اذهبي أيتها السماء، اتركيني قليلا لكي أتفقد أعضائي. لا أؤمن بعقل الجموع، أؤمن بالضوء يشع ويخترق ويشير. يا شجرة الحكمة، كيف أتآخى مع غابة القدس؟ وما هذا الواحد الذي لا يحضر إلا في جنازة أو على عرش؟ بعد لم تأتي الكارثة، بعد لم يحن الطوفان. البحر الأبيض يتهيأ والمحيطات تجأر وتضطرب. من يمنح هذا الرأس الروحاني لملك الصناعات؟ من يقول لهنيبال غلبتك روما، لكن أنت الذي انتصرت، ومن رأسك يطلب فجر آخر. ليس جسدي أثيرا، جسدي تراب وعظم، فيزياء أوردة وشرايين. أسكن في كوخ دخان وأتدثر بثوب غيم، وعبثا أحاول أن أداوي السماء. يا لي من مجرم يعيش بريئا كالمصاب، وذنبي هذه الآونة أنني أنافس الضوء. انغلقي إذا في وجهي أيتها السماء، ولك هذا العهد، لن تريني على بابك أبدا. وأنت أيتها الكواكب، لن أطلب أن تكوني سلما لخطواتي. ما أكثر الكواكب في السماء. غني أيها العاشق، هل حنجرتك هي عشيقتك؟ لا تجب. غني. الزمن يتدحرج صخرة صخرة بين يدي ربه، وأطفاله جبال من البكاء. ألمح فوق رأسك نجمة تنطفئ، استشف أشرعة تتمزق في بحيرات أحلامي. غني. موج يرتسم في تقاطيعك، غناؤك مد وجزر. حمدا للغناء، حمدا للعشق. الصواب والخطأ فيهما توأمان، والحقيقة جرحهما المشتعل. وها هو يقرع جرح المعنى، لكن هل هناك من يصغي؟ وماذا يجدي أن تمدي يدك إلينا أيتها الشمس؟ غني أيها العاشق. النبوءات تفر غيرة منك، وإليك تنتمي فتنة الدهر. حقا للفضاء في القدس شكل القفص. الكون كله 1001 من الأمتار المربعة. كومة من الورق تقف على المفارق في شكل كتب مستطيلة، نرى فيها الحبر يسيل بسرعة 20 قرنا في الحرب و30 قرنا في الفاصلة وقرونا لا تحصى في النقطة. يا لهذه الكومة التي ينقرها سطرا سطرا هدهد سليمان. هل سقطت الكتب المقدسة في الجب؟ صخرة بيت المقدس من صخور الجنة. يقول ابن عباس: روم أقباط أشوريون بلدان سريان كاثوليك أرمن أحباش أتراك شراكسة أفارقة مغاربة لاجئون فلاحون مدنيون يهود عرب رطوبة حرارة فلافل بخور استيطان احتلال يمام حمام سيارات بيبسيكولا مآذن أجراس كيلو متر مربع واحد لا أكثر. باب المقدس أرض المحشر والمنشر. يقول أبو ذر: من أهل بحج أو عمرة من المسجد الأقصى إلى المسجد الحرام غفر الله ما تقدم من ذنبه وما تأخر ووجبت له الجنة. تقول أم سلمة زوجته: البيت يودع ذاكرته والغبار يشمر عن أطرافه في ريح تشعث رؤوس الأيام في عنف جراد يلتهم نباتات الوقت. وكانت النساء قد زرعن أرحامهن في أرض الحلم وفوضن لله أمر الحصاد. بينهن من تموت مساء وتولد فجرا، بينهن من تكتب تنهد العاشق بصبر الحكيم، وبينهن من تسير وعلى كتفيها نير تحسبه ثروة.
Al-Quds is the Arabic name for Jerusalem, so if you will, the translation would be Concerto for Jerusalem, but we prefer to keep the word Al-Quds, thanks to a suggestion of a dear friend who's with us. So Concerto Al-Quds, even though we don't know the word, is the reference to Jerusalem. And we started he tricks me every now and then. Sometimes he starts passages that he doesn't tell me about. So I will not hear exactly what he said. And he stops earlier than I agreed. But I will read what I can. Tempted by nothing. A song. I do not believe the mind of the crowd. I believe in light, radiating, penetrating, pointing a direction. Dear tree of knowledge, how can I bother the forest of Al-Quds? How can I brother the forest of Al-Quds to me? And who is this one who is never present except at funerals or on a throne? Not yet. The disaster has not arrived. The flood has yet to burst. The Mediterranean is readying itself. The ocean stamp and shudder. Who will give this marble head to the king of trades? Who will say to Hannibal, Rome defeated you, but you are the victor, and from your skull another dawn rises now. My body is not ether. My body is dust and bone, a physics of arteries and veins. I live in a hut of smoke, and I wear clouds for clothes, endless, and without ever succeeding, I try to heal the sky. What a criminal I must be. living innocently like rain. My only sin is that I compete with night. Shut yourself up before me, dear sky. You will never see me at your door again. And you, dear planets, I will not ask you again to be a ladder for my steps. Inside me, countless planets abide. And now, lover, strike up the song. Is your throat your lover? Is your lover your throat? Don't answer, just sing. Time tumbles, stone by stone from the hand of its God. His children are mountains of weeping. I see a star above your head dimming. I sense his sails being gripped in the lakes of your dreams. Sing. Waves take shape in your features. You sing the tides ebb and flow. Praise be to song. Praise be to love. Right and wrong are a pair of twins between them, and the truth is their shared wound. Here he is, ringing the bell of meaning, but will anyone listen? What good will it be, the hand you reach out to us, O sun? Sing, lover. Prophecies scamper away from you, jealous, near insane. To you alone belongs life's ageless allure.
لماذا
ما كملتش.
لماذا كل ذرة في رماد فلسطين جرح مفتوح؟ لماذا هذا الجرح يصنع الحياة لكن بآلات الموت؟ هل تاريخ فلسطين خريف هاجر خارج الفصول؟ لماذا يتجعد في لغة القادة العرب وجه الخليقة؟ ولماذا تعج هذه اللغة بقطارات لا تحمل إلا الطرق التي لا مخرج لها والتي لا تنتهي؟ ولماذا يرسم هذه الطرق قادة آخرون لا يتشاجرون إلا مع الشجر والماء؟ حزقيال، رسالة إلى حزقيال النبي. حزقيال، أنت الراعي، حدث أيضا وأيضا. لا يزال الخراب خبزا يوميا في أرض الله. هل تتحول النبوءات هي كذلك إلى حصار؟ هل تنحفر الخنادق في كلماتها؟ هل تتصدى رؤاها في صواريخ، في قنابل، في براكين غاز وفسفور؟ وهل حقا أصبحت أيها الراعي صديقا لمنخر هذا النيل؟ وأكاد أن أسألك، هل التقيت يهوديا؟ وما لوحي الزمن يتقنع بملاك الأبدية؟ وما لتلك المسكينة أثاني النبوة بدأت تتعثر وتعرج؟ وماذا نفعل نحن أبناء الجارية والأرض كلها جارية في أحوال النبوة؟
The violin was wing because he read another section which he didn't tell me to read in English. So if you know both languages, hopefully win. I'll try to match him. But if you only know one, suffer. Tempted by everything. A song. It's true. The firmament in Al-Quds resembles a cage. The whole universe is a mere 1,000 square kilometers, 1,000 square meters. Piles of paper stand at each crossroad, shaped like books. Ink spills out of them at the speed of 20 centuries for each letter, 30 centuries a comma, and countless centuries a period. Oh, what a pile Solomon's hoopoe is pecking through, line by line. Have the holy books fallen into the abyss? The rock of Al-Quds is a stone from paradise. Greek Orthodox, Copts, Assyrians, Chaldeans, Roman Catholics, Armenians, Abyssinians, Kurds, Turks, Circassians, Moroccans, refugees, farmers, civilians, city folk, Jews, Arabs, humidity, heat, falafel, frankincense, settler colonization, occupation, doves, pigeons, cars, Pepsi-Cola, minarets, bells. 1 square kilometer, no more. The gate of Al-Quds is the land of summoning and resurrection. Whoever prepares for the pilgrimage from the Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem to the Masjid al-Haram in Mecca God will forgive his past and future sins, and paradise is guaranteed him. He's borrowing texts from classical texts. The poem comments about some classical intertextual borrowings. The house bids its memory farewell, and the dust around it lifts its sleeves in wind that ruffles the day's heads with violence, with locusts that devour the shoots of time. Women had planted their wombs into dream earth and commissioned God with the task of reaping. Some of them dine at nightfall and are reborn at dawn. Some ride a lover sighs with the patience of the sages. Some wear yokes, mistaking them for fur collars. No sound, except what issues from hurricanes banging against metal, and light bouncing in confusion from one metal to another. Ghosts assemble and disassemble under the armpits of space. The Mediterranean sits up on its atomic throne, and the very throne of God, vague hand resting over the blubber of time. The body of desire stands on a metal platform. Its spirit lies sprawled on the asphalt. And you, dear water, when will you separate yourself from clay? Night, scatter your stars over Al-Quds. The prophets of insomnia sleep among her severed limbs. At her feet, mud stands, then breaks apart into deserts and ravines. What will happen to those divine tablets that descended to Al-Quds? What will happen to the devils and their armies, to the angels and their gods? What will happen to the earth and her children? Does anyone know Al-Quds except her stars?
ننتقل إلى قصائد أخرى هي مختارات من قصائد كتبت في الحب.
We'll move to new shorter poems, love poems from a book called The Beginnings of the Body, Ends of the Sea.
خرج الورد من حوضه لملاقاتها. كانت الشمس عريانة في الخريف سوى خيط غيم على خصرها. هكذا يولد الحب في القرية التي جئت منها.
The rose leaves its flower bed to meet her. The sun is naked in autumn, nothing except a thread of cloud around her waist. This is how love arrives in the village where I was born.
نهضت أسأل عنك الفجر هل نهضت رأيت وجهك حول البيت مرتسما في كل غصن رميت الفجر عن كتفي جاء أم الحلم أغواني سألت ندى على الغصون سألت الشمس هل قرأت خطاك أين لمست الباب كيف مشى إلى جوارك ورد البين والشجر أكاد أشطر أيامي وأنشطر دمي هناك وجسمي ها هنا ورق يجره في هشيم العالم الشر.
I wake and ask dawn about you. Have you woken? I saw your face sketched around the house on every branch. I carried dawn on my shoulder. She arrives, or is it the dream tempting me? I ask the dew on the branches. I ask the sun, have they webbed your footsteps? Where did you touch the door? How did they walk alongside you, the roses and the trees? I'm about to break my days and split in two. My blood there, my body here, sheets of paper dragged into the ruined world by sparks.
آهي كلا لا أريد لعيني أن تسبحا في فضاء غير عيني كلا لا أريد لحبي وأشيائه وضوحا لا أريد انتماء ولا نسبا أو هوية لا أريد سوى أن نكون لغات للجموع وأعضاؤنا أبجدية.
No. I don't want my eyes to swim in any space other than his eyes. No. I don't want my love and its possessions to become clearer. I don't want belonging or lineage or identity. I want us to become a language for euphoria, an alphabet of limbs.
لا أحبك إلا لأني كرهتك يوما أيها الواحد المتعدد في جسمه ما أعمق الحب كرها ما أعمق الكره حبا.
I don't love you except for that I hated you once. Oh, one multitudinous in his body. Ah, how deep love is in its hatred. Ah, how deep hatred is in its love.
سأزور المكان الذي كان صيفا لنا بعد ترحالنا بين شطآن يوليس في ليل دلفي وفي شمس هدرة وسأمشي مثل ما كنت أمشي هائما بين أشجاره سأذكر أزهاره ورياحينه بأريج لقاءاتنا وأكيد ستسألني عنك ما صرت أين تكونين ما وجهك الآن لكن ما تراني أقول والفصول محلها الفصول.
I will visit the place that was summer for us after we traveled between Ulysses' shores through the night of Delphi and the sun of Hydra. I will walk the way I used to walk, lost among his trees. I will remind his flowers and herbs of the fragrance of our meeting. They will surely ask about what became of you? Where are you? Which way do you face now? But what am I saying? When seasons have erased other seasons.
غالبا أتفقد بيتي في الليل، أشعل ضوء المصابيح لكنها لا تضيء. النوافذ، أبدأ فتح النوافذ لكنها لا تضيء. لعلي في الباب ألقى ضياء أقول لنفسي وأسرع للباب أرجوه لكنه لا يضيء. الظلام هنا مثل جرح يظل على جرحه نازفا يقول لي الحب يا أحب من أين يأتي الضياء والسماء تخون السماء.
I check my house at night. I turn on lights, but they do not light up. Windows, I begin to open the windows, but they bring no light. Maybe I'll find some light through the door, I say, and begin to plead with it, but it does not illuminate. Darkness here is like a wound that even as it heals, continues bleeding. Love says to me, oh love, how can light shine when sky betrays sky?
قصيدة الأخيرة. بعد هذا التشرد ملء المدائن، بعد السنين التي أرهقت كاهلي، وهني لنا لطفولاتنا. لا أصدق أني شيخت، أمشي غريبا لا عذاب ولا أتشكى، لحبي وموتي فلك واحد، وأغوي من يجيئون بعدي أن يضيئوا بنور الجسد ظلمات الأهل.
After all this roving that has filled the cities of the world, after the years have worn out my body, I sing to us, to our childhoods. I can't believe that I have become old. I walk a stranger, no consolation needed. I do not complain. My love and death are in one orbit, but I still wish to tempt those that come after me to light the darkness of eternity with the body's glow. I'll try to make questions quick and short. We have a reception open at 6:30, it might be ready now. But كيف يتحول الشعر? How does the poet transform?
هو في تحول لا يحتاج إلى هذا السؤال.
The poet is always transforming, which makes my question moot. Like, how did you transform? كيف تحولت أنت كشاعر؟
يعني التجربة علمتني إنه لا أرى الأشياء إلا في غير مواضعها التي وجدت فيها.
Experience has taught me not to see things in the way they had originally been set. صح أنتم؟ Yeah. So, okay. عاود تاني.
أحاول دائما أن أرى الأشياء خارج المواضع التي وضعت فيها.
I try to see things outside of the conditions or settings they had been placed. طيب تحولات في السيرة تحولات مثلا في نوعية الشعر، بدأت بالشعر القديم، الشعر الحديث، الشعر قصيدة النافع، هذه التحولات كيف تصلها؟ The question is that the formal changes in his poetry started out writing more classical poetry, a new poetry emerged, a looser poetry emerged, prose poems, prose, a poem that's kind of an open text between poetry and prose. How does he sort of account for these changes? Okay. I'll give one example, okay? Living example.
إذا قلت هذا الباب مستطيل الشكل.
If I say this door is rectangular in shape.
وإذا قلت هذا الباب يفتح ذراعيه كأنه امرأة.
And if I say this door opens its arms as if it were a woman.
وين الشعر؟
Where is poetry in this?
بالمثل الأول
In the first image or in the second?
Oh, in the second.
ليس هناك شعر في الوطن.
There's nothing as absolute poetry.
الشعر خيال.
خليك كمل.
هناك شعراء.
There are poets.
الشاعر دائما يقول هذا الباب يفتح ذراعيه كأنه امرأة.
حتى الشاعر. And it said there are no absolute poetry. There are poets, and the poet always says the door opens its arm like a woman. I think does a woman poet also say that?
عظمة اللغة.
Yes, maybe.
عظمة اللغة العربية وكل اللغات في العالم، لكن العربية عندها خصوصية عظيمة. إنه يعني مثلا إذا قلت لكم ما بدي مثل يعني مبسط شوي. إذا ماني شايف إذا مثلا قرأنا بيت شعر لعمر بن أبي ربيعة مثلا بيحكي عن حاله وعلاقته بالنساء، يقول وكنا إذا أبصرنني أو سمعنا بي جرينا فرقعنا القوى بالمحاجر.
القوى بالمحاجر.
النوافذ الصغيرة. يرقعوا النوافذ الصغيرة بصبصوا عليها. مهم التعبير. فرقعنا القوى بالمحاجر. أولا لا يمكن ترقية النافذة بالعين. بعدين لا يمكن استخدام كلمة الترقية إلا في إطار غريب. يعني الشعر هو دائما نقل الأشياء من المواضع التي وضعت فيه ونقل اللغة من شيء هيك عندنا المجال نقل اللغة من معناها المعجمي الأصلي إلى معاني أخرى ما بيعرفها إلا شعر وبينقلها شعر.
So I'm going to translate from the back. I guess the poetry is taking things out of where they belong and placing them in a different context, displacing them, and also taking language from its ordinary use into a different usage or a newer usage. The example he gave is of a poem by Umar ibn Rabi'a, a classical Arab poet, who a sort of an amorous poet, self-aggrandizing. He says, when women see me, they would
وكنا إذا أبصرنني أو سمعنني ركضنا فرقعنا القوى والمحاجر.
So if women saw me or heard of me coming, they would reach out to windows and sort of patch the windows with their eyes. It's almost like the window would be blocked or patched up or somewhat closed because of their eyes looking through it. So the idea here is the use of eyes, human eyes, with the verb patching. So how do you patch with eyes? So it's the مجاز يعني
مجاز. مثلا إذا قرأت لكم كل الشعراء وقت يشوفوا أحباء حبيباتهم بيحكوا على عيونها وبيحكوا على لبسها وبيحكوا على خصرها وعلى مظهرها الخارجي. كل الشعراء بيجي شاعر عربي بيغير القاعدة بيقول وقت اللي شاف صديق حبيبته قال ضاقت علي نواحيها فما قدر على الإناخة في ساحاتها القبل. ضاقت علي نواحيها فما قدرت على الإناخة في ساحاتها القبل. شيء مدهش. شبه حبيبته ما حكى لا عن عيونه ولا عن صافينه ولا عن خصره ولا شيء. شبه حبيبته كأن ناقة بركت في الساحة فاصطدع قال قبل كبيرة وعظيمة جدا بحيث انه ما قدرت القبل تبعه تروح على جسمه وتقبلها لانه جسمه اضيق من ان يتسع لقبله.
So, okay, this is so he's also referring to certain poetic practices that are particular to Arabic, which give Arabic a particular distinction. And he says, okay, the image is of, and so the image of the beloved in Arabic is more complex. It is not just the appearance or just the eyes or so on. The image ends up being sort of transformative. And the image in this line is combines smallness and expanse. That she says her maybe elegance is so trim and so perfect. Yeah. but it is also, it has become large in that sense, and that it has become a kind of an infinity that is even smaller than all the kisses he can offer her.
هذا مثل بسيط حتى كل التلاميذ الشعر العربي بين أعظم شعر كتبته البشرية، لكن العرب أنفسهم لا يعرفونه.
Since the Arabic poetry is among the greatest poetry written in the world, but the Arabs don't really know that, unfortunately. We are open for questions.
هذا المثل كيف ممكن في ضوء الواحد يعمل ترجمة؟ كيف يفهم؟
Oh, exactly. Okay. He's saying when this poetry is this complex, how can it be translated? I think يعني في metaphor وفي القصة بس الأخير في paradox إن الصغير يصبح كبير. So there's a metaphor and there's paradox where what is large becomes also infinite in some ways. Yeah, it defies translation. It defies my translation. We can take some questions. And yeah, we have set up time. Yes. No, please.
This is a question for both of you, but thank you for this beautiful bilingual reading.
Thank you.
Both poet and translator. I was thinking that the title is meant the transformation, the transformative poet. It recalls me that Adonis translated the Metamorphoses of Ovid in 2002. The first complete translation of Ovid into Arabic. And I was curious how Metamorphoses and the idea of metamorphosis in Ovid inspired Adonis. Also how, for you, Colin, you also think of your role as transformative as a translator. In particular, I've been teaching a class just this week on the Echo and Narcissus episode in Metamorphoses, and thinking about how Echo is a kind of translator figure. And I was wondering how you both see that episode, especially in your translation of it.
السؤال عن ترجمة التحولات فتسأل يعني كيف مثلا تحولت أوفيد كانت لها دور في تفكيرك في تحولات الشاعر مثلا، وبعدين عندنا نقطة نحكي على ايكو اند نارسيسس، انه يقول ان ايكو هي نوع من الكائنة مترجمة، فهل ترى ان مثلا ايكو هي ايضا مترجمة ولو انها هي تردد كلمات نارسيسس؟
قرأت الترجمة بالعربية؟
لا هي عرفت انها ترجمت شيء نوز.
أنا أولاً طلب مني أن أترجم.
I was asked to translate Ovid.
فترددت كثيراً.
I hesitated a great deal.
لأنه الترجمة الكتاب يجب أن يترجم عن لغته الأصلية.
Text like that needs to be translated from its original language.
وأنا لا أعرف اللغة.
And I don't know Latin. I don't know the original.
فقلت هذا خطأ، قد يكون خطأ.
So I told the publisher this might be a mistake, maybe an error.
فأصروا قالوا لي نحن نريد منك أن تضع التحولات لأوفيد بلغتك الشعبية.
So they said we want you to translate Ovid into your poetic language.
ولذلك عملت مقدمي واعتذرت لمن ينتقدني انه انا لا اترجم هذا النص عن لغتي الروسيه، وهذا خطا اساسي. لكن قررت بعد الحاح الناشر من طلبه مني ان اعيد كتابه اوفيد الشعر العظيم باللغه العربيه.
So I wrote an introduction which I explained that I'm not translating from the original, and I notified my critics that this is a major error in my translation, but that I have tried to translation Ovid in a highly poetic Arabic language.
ورأيت في تحولات علاقات كبيرة مع التراث الأسطوري في المنطقة العربية
And I
وصولا
saw,
إلى سندباد.
what I saw in Ovid's Metamorphoses a great deal of the mythological heritage that is of the Arabic-speaking world, including even parts that resembles Sinbad in the Thousand and One Nights.
في تداخلات كبرى.
There's also a lot of, I don't know, maybe parallels or perhaps hidden intertextualities between Ovid's and Thousand and One Nights.
ويبدو أنه النص العربي نجح. يبدو أنه نجح.
And it seems that his translation, the Arabic text, has succeeded. It seems.
يا ريت فيها.
And I hope you will read it. Yes.
Thank you so much for being here and for sharing your poetry and for you both sharing your collaboration. And sadly, I can't really follow the images in the original, but I was so struck by your translations of like metaphors and images around time, like shoots of time or blubber of time or how seasons have erased other seasons. And so I was thinking, my question is, have the ways that you figure time via metaphor or image, have the ways that you figure time changed as you've changed over the course of your career? And if so, how? And if not, then why not?
Oh, this is the question I wanted to ask. سؤال عن وصفك للوقت. تقول مثلا مش فاكر التفصيل بس مثلا زي ما بنقول اشاعات الوقت او انطلاق الوقت كانه نبات او الوقت كانه حاجه ضخمه مثل فكيف تغير وصفك للوقت وعلاقتك بالزمن ايضا كيف تغير وصفك للزمن؟
احكي عن المبدأ. عندنا شاعر اسمه أبو تمام.
In principle, I will speak in principle. We have poet called Abi Tamam. Abu Tamam.
أبو تمام يعادل لنقول ملارمي في فرنسا.
Abu Tamam, who's a 10th century poet, is perhaps the equivalent of Mallarmé in France.
مرة كان عم بلقي قصيدة مع الخليفة.
One time he was reciting a poem in the royal court, in the Sultan's court.
فمر هذا البيت: لا تسقني ماء المولى لو
Okay. The one poem, do not offer me the water of blame.
فإنني إلى قام أحد الحضور وأخذ كاس قال له فيك تحط لنا شوية مي في الماء المولى.
And someone came and brought a cup and he said, can you give us a little bit of the water of blame? He would make mocking him, of course.
شو قال له أبو تمام؟
Is what Abu Tamam said.
قال نعم أعطني ريشة من جناح الذل. القرآن يقول واخفض لهما جناح الذل من الرحمة. أعطيني ريشة من جناح الذل وأنا فاهم الأسرة.
So the response is in Quran there is a wonderful, beautiful expression. He says, and this is addressing how a child should relate to one's parents. He says, one should lower to one's parents the humiliation, the humiliation wing, the wing of humiliation. The humiliation wing of mercy. That mercy is a winged creature, and one of these wings is partly humiliation or partly is humiliating. So for one's parents, one should reach out into mercy to the point that they feel a degree of humiliation. So lower yourself to that wing or give them that wing. So what Abu Tamam said, to bring the context, he responded to the guy who wanted the water of blame. He said, can you give me a feather from the wing of humiliation in the Quran? تفضل.
في واحد فضلي؟
Huh? لا تفضل, go ahead. I'm only seeing him. I can turn over here in a minute. تفضل.
وإذا دائما اللغة يعني عندما تكتب قصيدة يجب أن تترك لغة المعجم.
So when you write a poem, you have to leave the language of the dictionary, if you will.
وأن تترك اللغة السائدة بين الناس.
And you have to leave the language that's commonly used among people.
وشوي تشيل كثير ثقافة الرأس تسميها الثقافة المشتركة بين الناس.
And to leave, two ways to put it this way, the culture that's in the head, or the culture that's kind of mutually shared.
تشيل راسك بتحطه على الرف.
You take your head and put it on the shelf.
وبتحكي بمخيلتك.
And you speak from your imagination.
بجسدك.
And your body.
بأحلامك.
Your dreams.
بعذاباتك.
Your agonies.
وما بتكتب الحب. ما في حب في العالم.
Don't write love. There is no love in the world.
في حب هذه المرأة.
There is the love of this woman.
وحب هذا الرجل.
And that man.
لكل حبه.
For each there is their love.
ومصيبة الشعر ما بس عند العرب خصوصا.
And the tragedy of poetry among the Arabs, but not only the Arabs, but especially the Arabs.
ما في شاعر نادر يكتب حبه.
There's rarely a poet who writes of their own love.
يكتب حب اللي بيشوفه في الكتب.
He writes the love that he sees in books and novels. Okay. Now.
اوكي السلام عليكم.
Excellent.
اهلا استاذ.
مرحبا
بك.
يا هلا.
شوي عشان اترجم لك
طيب. Excuse me, I will speak Arabic because it's my original language. And I want to start when he ends on dream. My God thing like dream. And I want to speak in Arabic. So okay. أين انتهيت إنه قلت الشاعر يحلم أو يكتب الأحلام وأنا لدي حلم معه.
ما عم بفهم عليك.
الحلم أتكلم بالحلم.
He's starting off with you mentioned dreams and I'm going to begin with a dream. Okay?
بس قبلها يعني أنا بدي أعرفك بنفسي. أنا رسام فنان عراقي وأنقل لك يعني تحياتي وتحيات كل أصدقائي يجيبون في أمريكا. رحب بك. والحقيقة أنا أتابع جدياً يعني منجزك الشعري وإبداعك وأفكارك منذ 10 سنين.
It's a salutation, words of admiration. Okay. بس أعطينا السؤال. You want the question?
طيب.
You want the salutation, admiration? Okay. Let's have the question.
رسمت لك لوحة. واللوحة هي عبارة عن الشال اللي تلبسه أنت. وهذا الشال أثار اهتمامي صراحة.
Okay, you do a painting, and the painting is of the scarf that Adonis has been wearing.
شال أدونيس هو كأنه حياة أدونيس. هو رمز غريب.
It's an odd symbol, but it seems to indicate a symbol of Adonis.
وأرى في أدونيس صاحب مواليد 30 1930 وأنا مواليد 50 بيني وبينك 20 عاما. أفكر ماذا سيحدث لك وليا من تحولات السبع سنوات القادمة. أنت تكون بالمئة وأنا أكون بالثمانين. اللوحة.
Born in 1950, you're born in 1930. I'm wondering what's going to happen in the next 7 years when I'm 80 and you are, inshallah, 100.
تحولاتك تابعت تحولاتك خلال 50 عام.
طيب السؤال يا حبيبي
السؤال ما هي تحولاتك في ال7 سنوات القادمة السريعة؟ إن بقينا على الحياة أنا وأنت.
Okay. He says, what will be your transformation in the
شكراً.
next 7 years towards the 100 years?
ما في زمن، الزمن دراسة.
There is no time. Our time is in the head.
أنت تخلق الزمن.
You create time.
حلو.
I think we wrap it up, or let's go upstairs to have some chat. Yeah, let's go upstairs. Okay, it's a third floor, room 2222. Hold
Don't mind. Ladies and gentlemen, also, thank you very much for this. We have an evening with ADONIS tomorrow.